So good morning, everybody. As I say, welcome to the Southwest Herts Fit to Bid Community Wealth Building Programme. So this is the first in a series of webinars, and we're delighted to partner with our colleagues at St Albans, Watford, Hertsmere and Dacorum councils who are funding this programme through the UK SPS, the UK supplier the UK SPF fund. So without further ado, we will start. So a little bit about me. I'm the program manager. As some of you may have met me before through previous events or webinars, but yeah, a little bit about me. So I'm a business advisor. I've been with Brandwin for over 3.5 years now, and separately I run my own business consultancy. I work closely with SMEs across Watford and Hertfordshire. I run my own business networking group for entrepreneurs and founders. Previously, I've been a judge on the Harrow, it was like a Dragon's Den. So I was a panel judge for Women in Business programme there. I've delivered Women in Business programmes as well. I've also led Watford's UK SPF programme for the past 2 years and organised a few Meet the Bar events, which we'll come on to later about the Meet the Bar events, and also delivered one-to-one sessions for Hillingdon and Brent. So that's a little bit about me. My details are there. Should you need to contact me, they're there on the left-hand side. So yeah, good morning, everyone. So a little bit about this workshop and this programme. It's about giving yourself a competitive edge over your competitors. And to start with, there'll be 2 interactive workshops. So we've got this one today, which is an introduction to bid writing. So today we'll cover the sort of foundations of that. And then next week on the 16th, on Tuesday, we'll build on what we've learned today. So it'll be a little bit more about improving your bid response. So based on the principles of the best practice, what we're going to cover today is why do organisations go to tender? And it's getting the basics right as well. And what makes up a winning bid? And that's supported by golden rules, which we will come on to later on this morning. So understanding the questions and the objectives and confirming your solution and its selling points and articulating the benefits and values. Now that's really, really important when we come on to that later on about articulating the benefits and the value and providing compelling evidence, that's kind of case studies, that sort of thing. A little bit about researching and then about writing a bespoke, accurate and clear and concise bid. So a little bit about Brandwin. As some of you may have attended some of our programs before, so you'll know a little bit about us. So we're a group of business advisors. We're based in London and the South East. And essentially, we consult with local chambers of commerce and universities and local authorities, and we deliver a set of different types of programs, which in turn assists entrepreneurs, business owners, etc. So a little bit about the team. So we were established in 2011. And we have, during that time, we have delivered over 45 different business support programs. And we have worked with over 25,000 SMEs. So that's a lot of people that we have actually worked with over these years. Hundreds of success stories, some of which I will come on to later on. As I say, we're based in London and the South East, but we have now reached out towards Midlands and also the North. So a little bit more about the programs we deliver. So we do everything from startup to sort of building business resilience, fit to export. These are some of the programs we run. We're here today for the Fit to Bid program, which is our flagship program. These are partnerships and collaboration. So these are the partners that we have worked with over the past we were established 2011, so it's over the past 14 years. And as my colleague now always says, it's taken us 14 years to build this slide. Not because we're no good at PowerPoint, but that's how long it takes to actually build relationships and collaborations. So across the top there, you'll see lots of the local authorities we've worked with, and the Chambers of Commerce there in the middle, and our partners below there in the bottom. So you can see we've got a wealth of experience in this area. We're also very proud that our Fit to Bid programme is listed on the government website. So because of the quality and the type of work that we have delivered over the past few years, we are now one of their approved suppliers on the Fit to Bid programme. So something that we are very proud of. This is just an overview of some of the programmes that we have run over the last couple of years, and current programmes that we actually are working on. So Harrow is about to start, Southwest Herts, that's you here, and Hillingdon is about to start again as well, and Ealing is currently underway. So quite a few programmes that we have worked with, and we are also a partner for the Heathrow SME Academy. A little bit about the methodology of the programme. So to start with, we engage with procurement, and as you being part of this programme, we assist you to work with that. Additionally, you may have or will have received an online bid capability assessment to understand where you are on the bidding journey and your capability in your assessments, and that's a questionnaire report that that's fed back to us that we see. And then you have the bidding skills. So you have a series of webinars coming up, the bidding skills, which will later on also touch on sales enablement. As part of the programme, there's also the tender advice sessions, the one-to-one sessions. And some of you may already have had the one-to-one sessions with myself. If you haven't as yet, then there's an opportunity. Some more sessions have been released, so there's an opportunity to book a one-to-one session. And then that culminates in the Meet the Buyer event, which will be held at Shendish Manor in November, 13th of November. And that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you actually to meet procurement teams face to face and speak to them about your products, your services, with potentially to submitting an expression of interest and hopefully winning some contracts further along down the line. So first things first, so key issues that we have. So this is feedback that we have had from businesses that we've worked with on these programs over the last couple of years. So key issues for SMEs to get into the supply chain and to bid for contracts. So the first one is insufficient public experience in the public sector. Yes, we get a lot of people who come to us and say, I don't know where to start. We've got no experience at all. The industry is dominated by big companies that lock SMEs out. That is not necessarily true. And within the new Procurement Act, which was launched recently, which we won't have time to go in today, there is now a focus on the tier one suppliers offering contracts to SMEs. So there's a big push on that. So you have as much opportunity as the bigger companies to bid for those contracts. Your business is largely unknown to public sector buyers. Yes, we get that. We understand that that happens, but that can be changed through kind of networking and attending different local events. The business owner can't reach the right person. Yes, we hear that lots of time, but through this program, you will have the opportunity to actually connect with the buyers, the procurement teams, both at the local authority and local tier one suppliers. Lack of proactive marketing and strategy. Yes, again, that's something we come across quite often. It's having a robust strategy and that activity in place. Dated or no client reviews, testimonials. Now, this is absolutely crucial when you are looking to bid for contracts, whether it's in the public sector or in the private sector. Client reviews, testimonials, case studies are absolutely crucial because this demonstrates who you are, what you do, and the work you've actually delivered. And again, these must be no older than, I'd say, 12 months, no more than a year old. I mean, I've seen it before. People say, yeah, we've got a testimonial and it's 3-4 years old, or client review, it's 3-4 years old. And the question is, well, what have you done within the last 12 months? So any reviews or testimonials, if you don't have any, make sure that you start building a database of testimonials and client reviews. Unable to devote adequate time and resources to plan. Yes, I know some of the big companies, why they win contracts is because they actually have a dedicated team to actually writing bids. That's what they do. That's what they do full time, day in, day out. And we understand that it is a timely process, and a lot of business say they don't have adequate time, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. And again, limited knowledge about the tendering process. Well, that's why you're here. That's why you're on this program, and that's for us to help you actually learn that. Inexperience, again, same as before, inexperience in developing writing bids, and no idea of what to put in response, making it a winning one. So again, that's what we're here to help you understand. Okay, right, let's move on to so the program benefits, which each participant on the program, you would have had an assessment of your bid writing skills, knowledge and skills to implement the best practice standards, the Community Wealth Building Summit or Meet the Bar events, which is the one coming up in November. If you've not already had, there is the opportunity to have a confidential one-to-one tender advice session. Assistance to submit an expression of interest, and that we will come on to a little bit more in next week's session. Again, support and writing and submitting winning bids. And later on in the programme, with one of my colleagues, there'll be the opportunity to have a completed business model canvas. And through that, we will highlight your value proposition, and that be designed specifically for procurement. And engagement throughout the programme and regular and ongoing feedback. So my details are there. So we are at hand to communicate with you throughout the programme. So question, this is an iconic venue not far from Hertfordshire. Did you bid? Did any of you bid on this the construction of the iconic Wembley Stadium some years ago now, since it was actually constructed? But of course, in and around the stadium, there's still, even till today, every time I drive past there, there's something else that has, another building has appeared almost overnight, it would seem. But have you bid for any of those projects in and around the area or any local areas? So quick exercise, what we're going to do now, just to kind of gauge where you are on the tendering and bidding process. If you could just put some examples in the chat. One, if you never tendered before. 2, if you've completed maybe a handful of tenders. Or 3, if you regularly submit bids. And for 2 and 3, it would just be interesting to know kind of where you're at, whether, were you successful or you were not successful. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, we've got a few people who've never bid before. Right, yeah, so yeah, Christina a couple of times, Rajna a couple. Okay, yeah, so we've got Barry, yeah, NHS and local authority successful. That's great, that's good news. Okay, right, yeah. So yeah, a little bit of mix there. So we've got quite a few 1s and a few 2s actually. Some of you have completed a handful of tenders. And okay, all right, yeah, Misty, 3, regularly submit bids and tenders. Okay, that's great, thank you. It just gives me an idea of the of everybody where you're all at. So if we move forward, so the purpose of the bid process, again, why do organisations go to tender? And broadly, what do you think they look for in a provider? Again, if you could just stick a couple of your thoughts or examples in the chat. why do you think organisations go to tender? And broadly, what do you think they look for in a provider? If you'd like to pop some thoughts, then there's no test here, it's just what you think. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, get the best price. Yeah, to find a trustworthy partner. Yeah, financial security. Yeah, lots of, thank you. Yeah, they go to tender because they either cannot complete the work themselves or want to shift risk onto an external vendor. Yeah, they need to be seen as impartial and value for money. And of course, yeah, competitive price. Yeah, best price, new contracts. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yes, Matt, you put there to meet new providers that they are actually unaware of. And we've come across this actually when we've had some of the Meet the Bar events and we've spoken to some of the buyers afterwards. And quite often they said, we didn't realize all these suppliers were in our locality. So it really opens up. That's why these events are so important to attend, because quite often people don't know, the buyers actually don't know you exist. So, okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So yeah, so yes. So again, what we say is putting yourself in the mind of the buyer, and showing that kind of empathy really, really evaluates your bid. So why do organisations go to tender? Yeah, as we said, fair to enable a fair and objective comparison. Yep, to minimise the risk in supplier selection. Of course, ensure compliance with legislation and policy, social and ethical. And of course, achieving a sustainably competitive price as well. As you said, price isn't always everything. We've seen more now that quality and value also plays an important part. So it's not always, yeah, let's just go for the cheapest because that's what we need. I say again, quality and value also plays a part in that as well. Yep, deliver return on investment and value for money. Oops. And deliver efficiencies. Want to go with me? Slight technical issue here. Okay, yeah, and delivering efficiencies that can be measurable as well. Okay, sorry, that's slight technical issue. Okay, so another reason why companies go to tender and what they actually look for is an innovative mindset. They're looking for somebody who's forward thinking and can deliver something that is going to outside of the box and it's driving a higher value for them. And to determine your ability to carry out the work, and competence. But clearly they want somebody who is competent and can deliver what they say they can deliver. Again, improving services, communications and collaboration. And they want to find a partner that fits them culturally. And we'll come on to this again a little bit later about research as well and what you can actually do to align with the needs of that buyer. Again, access reliable, accurate and real-time data, particularly with public sector contracts. They love data. Any stats or anything else that you can give them that's over and above, they love data. So that's something to bear in mind. And some of the future focused expertise as well. It's not quite often contracts, particularly public sector contracts, are maybe 3-year contracts. And so they want to know what you can deliver within, not just within that 3-year period, but afterwards, how you can improve the value to them, extending beyond those 3 years. Transparent and open communications, with willingness to take accountability, absolutely. And again, there will be that constant communication with that. It's not a case of just being offered the contract and that's it. Thanks very much. We don't communicate with you. They will want open and transparent communication throughout. And some of the problem solving ethic, anybody who's, all of us will probably know, any contracts we've worked on, nothing ever goes to plan. Some things go to plan, but often there are issues, and they were looking for a company that is open and honest and just say, well, yeah, okay, we've encountered an issue here, maybe delays because of A, B, and C, but this is what we're going to do to improve that. to make sure that the problem can actually be resolved, and ensure satisfaction of the internal customer, particularly with public contracts. They will have internal customers, so it's not just them. It may be other departments or other stakeholders that they have to satisfy as well. So first things first, what you do is getting the basics right. So you'll be given a supplier questionnaire. A supplier questionnaire. All sections of that questionnaire have to be completed, and you need to follow it exactly what they're asking for. You must complete that. You have a form of tender which you'll sign. Of course, a non-collusion certificate, again, that's something you sign. And then there will be terminology, which some of you may or may not actually be aware of as yet. So an ITT, which is an invitation to tender, an RFI, which is request for information, RPF, or RFP, sorry, request for proposal, and PQQ, pre-qualification questionnaire. So this is kind of terminology that you will get used to. I've got a technical issue here. I'm not sure if you can see my... Right, okay, yeah, slides have moved. Okay, let me just see what's happening here. Let me resume. Okay, right, okay, can you see those? You can see the slide now? Yes, okay. Okay, I don't know if this where we stopped, but if I just go back quickly. So we were looking at why companies go to tender. I won't go through all of those again, but again, it's to find a partner that suits them, somebody that is future focused, and somebody who will take open and transparent communications and problem solving ethic. And again, so I think you may have missed this. So first things first, a supplier questionnaire. So you need to follow all the sections exactly and work through. So now you can see this. So we got down to here, and accounts and financials. Absolutely, your accounts will need to be up to date. They'll want to know absolutely everything about your accounts. You will need to provide that. References, again, from any suppliers that you work with, and you'll need to provide references. Policies, all policies should be up to date. If there's policies that are not required for this particular tender, then they don't need to be included. A pricing file, yes, you will need to complete a pricing file. They will want to know your pricing structure, and also a breakdown, of how you actually come to those prices. Just a quick question, what sort of accounts do you need to supply? Similar to what you submit to the company's house? Yeah, so it will be your annual accounts and any other accounts that you have. Right, and this is the key: plan and allow sufficient time, because this takes time, and you need to allocate time to actually put all of this together. Once you've done it once, then you kind of create a folder of your bidding and your tender documents. They go in there. You've got that, then you've got the basis of what you actually need. Okay, so as we said there, so you need to allow sufficient time to project manage your response carefully. As I said, this does take time. We suggest just using a simple Excel spreadsheet to track targets, goals, and milestones. And then define who's on your bidding team. I know with some businesses, you actually have a team that's dedicated and allocated to doing the bids and the tenders. Quite often that's not the case. For smaller businesses, it's just going to be yourself or your business partner. So you need to allocate time to do that. And there may be other stakeholders, maybe internal or external suppliers, that may be able to come on to help you with this. And this is crucial. Know the deadlines and always work to the day before, particularly with public sector contracts. If the deadline is, say, 24th of September at midday, that is 24th of September at midday. It's not 12:01, 1 minute past, because it would be knocked out straight away. It would not be accepted. So we always say work to the day before, or maybe even a couple of days before, to make sure that you've got everything ready to be submitted. And make sure somebody other than your yourself or your team, somebody maybe who's not directly involved in the business, can proofread what you've written. And I've spoken to a few businesses in the past, and I've said, who ever get anybody external to read the document? They say, no, we just read it ourselves, we go through ourselves. And what was the success? No, we didn't win the bid. So it's really important that you get somebody else, maybe not with the kind of knowledge of your business per se, because when you submit this is not, it's not read by a robot when you submit it. It's not AI, it's read by an actual person in the procurement team. So they may not know anything about your particular sector or your industry. So it's important that you get somebody, so when they pick that document up and they read it, they need to know that, they need to be able to understand actually what it is that you are offering. So it's really important that you get somebody to proofread it. So if they understand it and go, right, yeah, okay, that's good, we understand, then you're kind of, you're onto a winner. Another thing I would say is do not use AI to write your bid. Yes, you may want to use it to kind of give you some ideas to construct it, to put it together, but do not use use AI to actually fill in all those paragraphs, all those sections, and then submit it. I've seen it before, and you can see straight away when something has been AI produced. It stands out a mile, and it's just, it has to be worded in your own terminology, in your own language, the language that is in that you use in your business. So that is something that is important to think about. So the winning bid, principal elements. So it's having the right price and the golden rules. And this is what we are going to focus on. So 1, directly answer the questions according to the evaluation criteria. Shows understanding of the broader needs and objectives. Okay, demonstrates a credible and competent solution. Here, can't see. Confirm the benefits for the client. Includes evidence to support and convince, and write leanly, clearly, and precisely. And this is really important. What we're going to cover today is just sections 1 and 2, and then next week, next Tuesday, when we do the next webinar, we'll cover the other sections. Okay, so the fundamental rules of bidding. Going to be really obvious. For excellent bids, we'll usually win contracts, and poor bids will usually lose contracts. So, I mean, it sounds obvious, doesn't it? But again, it is self-evident, but it's striking how many bids actually are really poorly prepared and written. And what we quite see often as typical issues is providing incomplete answers or not understanding the question. This is absolutely paramount. You must provide complete answers and make sure you've understood what is being asked. Focusing only on your business and not the customer. Right, well, that's great, but clearly they want to know a little bit about your business, but it's what you are delivering and the value you're delivering to them, not just about yourself. And again, it's describing the features, not the benefits. Okay, so they want to know what they're going to get out of the contract from yourself. What are you actually going to deliver, not just the features? And again, a lack of hard evidence of claims, who you've worked for, no case studies, no testimonials. I mean, there's many, many more we don't have time to go into today, but these are some of the typical issues that we actually come across. And again, here it's a kind of case of why choose us? What is it? Why choose us? And when how do you stand out from your competitors? People say, well, we're experts in what we do. Most people say we're experts in what we do, but what does that mean? What does that mean you're an expert? How can you actually demonstrate that you are an expert? Oh, we're passionate about what we do. It's weak. We're passionate about what we do. Well, we would expect you to be passionate about what you do. So it has to be something that is much more direct. And what we often say is, when you're saying, yeah, we're experts in what we do, it's a case of, which means that. What does it mean? You're an expert, but so what? You're an expert, but what does that mean? So just quickly, because I am conscious of time, why should a supplier choose you? Or so why would a buyer, sorry, choose your company as a supplier? And how can you evidence that you have proven expertise in the services required? So if you're able just to pop a couple of things quickly in the chat. Right, okay, I'm just looking. Yeah, case studies, experience, recent testimonials, integrity. How do you reference proven experience, expertise at previous companies if you're relatively newly set up? Okay, yeah, Adam. Yeah, again, it's that I'm not sure what you mean there. If it's previous companies you've worked for, previous companies that you've delivered for. Again, it's you can get a case studies or references from previous companies that you have worked with to demonstrate your experience and what you've delivered. And again, when someone here has put, you know, your unique Google reviews, yeah, okay. Profile of people working on the project. Training, make those certifications. Yes, certifications and accreditations are really important, particularly in certain areas like construction. It's mandatory, it's required. Again, case studies and testimonials. Again, yeah, qualifications. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so a lot of you there have put, you know, case studies in delivery, yeah, previous examples of delivery and within budget. Yeah, and awards as well, yeah. Or local impact on the, yeah, so excellent, thank you. So it's all really good answers there. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to put yourself in the mind of the buyer, okay, and you write your bid from their perspective, because empathy is power. So again, what we always say is, you know, you've put some excellent answers in the bid there. Somebody's put, we're unique, but what does that mean? So we always say, when you're writing something, we are unique, which means that. What does it mean? So we deliver great service, we're innovative, which means that. So you need to clearly define what it is that you are actually, the benefits of what you get. It's got to be clear. So here's some reasons why this is feedback we've had, some reasons why a potential customer could choose you. You know, how well do you know the client? Actually, do you have an existing relationship with the client? Is that something that can be built on? And it doesn't mean just because you have an existing relationship with that client that you necessarily won't go through the process, the tendering process. You may still have to go through that process. But if you know that client and you know their ethos, what they're looking for, their focus and their vision, that helps. Okay, again, as you've all put it here in the chat, evidence, you know, case studies, testimonials, references, absolutely crucial, because they will want to see it. That's the one thing. And if you don't have any recent case studies or testimonials, or you have some but they're out of date, if they're more than a year old, I would say kind of make that a priority to start getting more case studies and testimonials. And again, references. If you're, say, newly set up business and you don't have that many case studies, then get references from previous people you've worked with, because this is crucial, so they can see that you have done this before, you have delivered this before, and what the outcomes are. And again, where can they find this evidence? Is this on your website? Is there links that you can provide for them? And they need to know this as well. Again, similar to above, can you demonstrate expertise and experience in the sector? Yes, you can. What expertise do you have, and what have you done? Again, it's all about adding value. Okay, adding value. What can you do, or what have you done? You can demonstrate your expertise and your experience, and where did you add value to that? It's, again, have you worked on similar contracts, and what can value? Same thing. What value can you show that you added? And again, knowledge and experience of your team. They want to know your team, the size of your team, the knowledge, the experience on your team, how you develop your team, how you train your team. Okay. So I mean, a lot of those, they'll say, yeah, we have all that, and they'll say, well, so what? Is that enough? One thing we would say is, when you're submitting your expression of interest, or you're filling in the tender document, don't just put a link to your company brochure. Company brochure will just have the kind of overview of what you say. And again, many competitors will say exactly the same thing about their companies you're going to say about yours. You must turn your language, not generic language, into really focused, value-driven narrative. And it's with evidence. If you want to score the highest marks, you need to give evidence. It needs to be really, really robust. Not just, oh, we do A and that makes B. It's a case of, well, we do A and it makes B, which means that. And it's that value that you're adding in between and how this will benefit this, how this will give better value to what you are looking for. So again, it's understanding what you are being asked. And this is the clear thing, because quite often we see people read the question and they go, right, okay. And they write a response and it's not clear. You haven't quite understood what you are actually being asked and what the objectives are. And again, it's not using sort of acronyms and jargon and, you know, not necessarily slang language, but it's something so that somebody who knows nothing about your business can read and say, I fully understand what this business is saying. Again, so we must identify the objects, the objectives, their organizational objectives. What are their drivers? What does the project relate to? What are their absolute needs? What is it, the purpose of the project? And what is thought to be added value? It's not a nice to have, well, it's nice to have this. Really, really think. Think about your own business. Where is it that you add value to your existing customers? What is it that you do over and above? And once you've identified these things, you've got the foundations of actually writing a winning bid. And again, in understanding those objectives and needs, and they will tell you when you receive the invitation to tender, and you will see in there, you read that specification, you read it, and then you read it again, and then you read it again, and you make sure you know exactly what is being asked. And of course, you will have questions. Those of you that have bid before, you'll know there's an opportunity. There will be a window, maybe a week or a couple of weeks, where you will have the opportunity to ask more questions. And it's important that you do that so you fully understand what they are asking, what their requirements are. And the good thing about this is that it'll be on a portal or a forum, that when you ask questions, and they are anonymous, that you can ask questions, but you will see where your competitors have asked questions as well. It may be something you hadn't actually thought of, but your competitors will also ask the questions. So you can see that as well. So it's all anonymous, and it just gives you a really kind of robust understanding. So you can clarify exactly what those requirements are through that Q&A process. I think in questions to ask to kind of maximize the score, so correctly identify those question elements, makes it so much easier to understand. And this helps you to establish how you will structure your answer. And if you only partially answer the question, because there is a scoring matrix, you will score fewer marks if the answers are only partially, if the questions are only partially answered. So we've got another quick exercise now. I'm again, not give you the answers, but I've asked you the question. I'm conscious of the time as well. But have a read through this. So this is actually from a real bid. This is a question from a real bid. And the question is, how many elements must our answer address? So have a read through and just put some examples in the chat. How many elements must your answer address? Yeah, okay, yeah, we've got 6, yeah, all 3, yeah, 6, yeah, good. 5, 6. Okay, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Excellent. Yeah, you're all on the right track here because it is, yeah, six answers. So if we look at here where it's actually highlighted, up the top here, please provide a high-level description of the structure of the company and the structure of the division or part of the company responsible for delivering the services. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, point number one, high-level description of the structure of the company. Number two, structure of the division or part of the company responsible for delivering the services. Three, the number of people in each team. Four, the description of the resources expected to deliver the proposed solution. Five, describe other key contracts being delivered in a similar timeframe. And six, how to use any resource conflicts how any resource conflicts will be managed. So that's how we break it down. When you receive the IT2 and the invitation tender, then just go through, get your highlighter pen and just go through and highlight the key areas. Because once you've started with this, you can actually then see, right, okay, this is how we need to answer this question. And then, of course, they're scored, the evaluation criteria. This is an example of the scoring. We're not even going to look at 0 because it means you've not responded or answered any of the questions, doesn't meet any of the basic requirements. So what we're looking for are scores. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Yeah, so we're looking for scores of 4 and 5, ideally 5. A well-defined solution linked to clear benefits backed up by strong evidence. Again, it goes back to all those case studies, those references and the testimonials. And the quantification has been included. It shows clear value. That's what they're looking for. Score number 4, a good solution. So you provide a good solution with benefits and reasonable evidence and some value through quantification. Okay, but ideally we want to be looking at this number 5. This is what we want to do, score 5. And then, if you sort of go down, if you're going to score 1, it means you've included some information about the supplier, what about yourselves, what they offer. It doesn't include any clear benefits and no value for the customer. There's no evidence of that. We don't want to be down this end of the score. So again, it's really being really clear on what they are asking for, and you giving really clear, definitive answers. And again, it's around that value. Okay, right. Hopefully you can.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds back.
You can hear me. Silent. Okay, you can hear me. Right. Not sure we went back. So I'm just talking about, if you didn't hear this, I'm talking about research, where you can actually research a client. And so this is Wandsworth, where you can see here, there's details here of the council executive directors, their names, their email addresses, and with procurement, this is for Richmond as well, they've got their whole procurement process there. It's set out for you. So there's a whole wealth of information you can find out, particularly in the public sector. It's just putting aside a couple of hours, and you can you can find information anywhere. This is for Watford Council, actually. And when you're looking, what you're looking for is, what's happened recently? What's their objectives? I put my teeth back in. What's their objectives? What's their vision? Their values? What's new? What's happening? What's new? And you'll find all of this on the local authority websites. So this is Watford as an example. Again, this is Watford. It tells you about the values of different contracts, high value contracts, upcoming procurements. So quite often you can go and look into, going through their websites, and you can look at their pipeline, what actually is coming up. You can see what contracts, what's driving them, what contracts they have, how you can pre-engage. So all this will be on their website. So what we always say is, before you're writing your tender, have a look at this, spend a couple of hours, or get someone on your team to have a couple of hours to do this research, undertake the research, because it's really, really valuable. And again, through Google, you can have a look and just type it in, through the contracts register, that's Hillingdon Council, or Hillingdon Chamber, or Hertfordshire, sorry, not Hillingdon, Hertfordshire County Council. It's all there. It's all there for you to find. It's just a case of you spending some time having a look. It's really valuable for you to do this beforehand so you understand what they're looking for. Okay, researching what do you actually want to look for? Again, it's their strategy. What is their strategy of the immediate, short, medium, long term? Their visions, their values, any challenges or goals, any opportunities for you to make a difference to those challenges and goals, changes in the markets, any business issues that are critical. And again, it's using the language that they use, understanding them, understanding what they're looking for. And again, any opportunities to reflect that. And quite often they will have a definition of a good supplier, if they have that. So you will know what their definition of a good supplier is and how you meet that definition. Any relevant quotes, if there's anybody quotes that you can then quote back to them when you're actually speaking to them or submitting your tender document. So this is just an overview so far. So this is what we've got. This is the basics of putting together a tender document. Again, it's reading the questions, understanding the questions, understanding their objectives, and what value do you actually bring. And again, if it's one thing that you take away from today, it's when you're writing that, again, it's that which means that. What is it? It means that we can deliver, and this is a benefit for you. So, so we've covered most of this morning of the foundation side. Next week, we are going to go into more detail about the writing and expression of interest, more detail in what you put together in a document, in a bid document. So that's next week on the 16th of September. That will be followed the following week by the writing the public sector bids and tenders. And as some of you will be looking for public sector, some will be looking for private sector, but this will be focusing on the public sector bids in contracts. And then, of course, we've got pitching for success. So the day before the Meet the Bar event, we've got the pitching for success. So that really kind of helps you, elevate your pitch. So when you're sitting down in front of the bar, what to say, what not to say. Of course, again, so we've got there the Meet the Bar event. You will be sent links out for all of these anyway, so nothing that you need to do at this stage. That's 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. I'll come on to that in a bit more detail in a moment. And then after the event, we've got some other skills workshops, which will be delivered by either myself or one of my colleagues, so evaluating your tender business model, design development products for procurement and services for procurement, and developing key partnerships. And again, there's the one-to-one advice sessions, which some of you already may have had and others are yet to book. The workshop today, so this workshop, we won't be sending out any slides, but there will be a recording. It is being recorded. So it's a lot to take in today. So if you can't remember it all, you can go back next week sometime. It will be up on our Brandwin YouTube channel, as it's Brandwin Business Support on YouTube, and you'll find the video uploaded on there if you just need to go back and check a couple of things. So the mentoring, just a little bit about the one-to-one sessions. As some of you already had a session, which I hope you found useful. But what we do, the sessions are about an hour each. We use an action card that we work through, contains all the details about business and who you are. And then we'll talk through any kind of action points to help you win new contracts. And then we follow up with those later on. That's something that we work with throughout this program. Towards the end of the program, you will also be supplied with, there's plenty of guidelines, and some of you would already have received some of these if we've had a one-to-one meeting. And they're just useful guidelines around different things about bid submission tactics and social value. And again, with a lot of government contracts, they are looking for social value. So there's guidelines there. If that's something that you're not active with it currently, it will give you some practical hints and tips as to what to do, a tender checklist. So all of this will be issued to you anyway. And at the end of the program, you receive a ebook. It's a supplier development ebook, effectively containing a lot of what's happened through this program as we go through. Meet the Bar events. So we've had quite a few Meet the Buyer events over the past few years. I've personally been part of 4, the Watford programme, Hillingdon also, Hammersmith and Fulham, and Brent, and now South West Herts. So these are great, they're a fantastic opportunity. I cannot stress it enough. They're a fantastic opportunity for you to meet people from the local authority, from large private buyers, construction, industry, and also other large local anchor institutions. So again, that will be coming up. Again, we're also a partner of the Heathrow Business Academy. There is the Heathrow Business Summit that's coming up in November as well. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to actually meet buyers face to face. And I will just say, from one of the previous ones I dealt with in Watford, there was a business there who had met one of the buyers at the Meet the Buyer event, and they communicated afterwards. He submitted his expression of interest, and a few months later, after different conversations further down the line, they actually won a contract, a 3-year contract, which he said to me has transformed his business. It's a high value contract, and his feedback when we spoke, he said, I'd never have won that contract had I not attended the Meet the Bar event, because we would never have been able to have had that conversation face to face. They wouldn't have known about us. We know about them, but we wouldn't have been able to sit down and have that conversation. So they do work. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit about it. So again, it's Shendridge Manor, 13th of November, and arrival 2 p.m., 2:30 to 5 p.m. And prior to the meeting, you will be sent an invitation to pre-book 10-minute meetings with some of the large buyers. You'll have a choice of the buyers. To be confirmed, we know currently we have the 4 local authorities will be there. And we have 1 or 2 construction companies I know of already. And over the next few weeks, we will be speaking with other large buyers. We are hoping to have between 16 and 20 buyers present on the day. They're yet to be confirmed. And that's meetings that we'll be having over the coming weeks, which will be confirmed nearer the time. So we can see where your services align with each of those buyers. And you will be given an opportunity to meet with them face to face. Meetings will be 10 minutes, and it's really strict because we'll have a lot of people there. So 10-minute meetings. So you need to get across who you are, what you do, how you add value in those 10 minutes. So no pressure. So just quickly, because I'm aware of time, we've just got a few minutes left. These are some case studies that we've had, people who've come through our program. There's a lovely lady here, Sarah. She's now working for the Crown. She's got the Royal Warrant, and she's working for the Royal Household cleaning business, highly competitive in quite a saturated area, but she offered something that gave extra value. And so yeah, now she's now working with the Royal Household, so it's a great opportunity for her. Ruth Ann and Ian, the Pallets Yard, they won a contract with Heathrow and Swissport Heathrow, and again they've been through this program, so from a small business to something that has grown massively. And again, a healthier technology. Dr. Chun-Li Chow, she again has been through the program. She won Businesswoman of the Year, and she's won several contracts as well. So it does work. There's others as well that have come through, so the pallet supplier, window supplies, construction, EV charging, signage. So, if they can do it, so can you. Video production, even scented candles. So, there's opportunity for everybody. So again, just a quick overview. These are my contact details there. If you need to contact me, if you haven't booked a one-to-one, like a one-to-one, so they are limited, but we have had a few added. This is what we do. So register for the program where you've done that, book a one-to-one session. We get you to submit an expression of interest, and we'll help you develop a winning bid. So it's over the next few weeks, a couple of months, and that's what we want you to do. That's what we want to do. So that's we've got about a minute to spare, but thank you for your participation this morning. I know we've only got a minute left. I hope you've enjoyed this, but if you do have any questions, so we've got sort of a minute or so, if anybody wants to put anything in the chat to ask me, or you can contact me separately afterwards. Other than that, we will, I'm sorry about the few technical issues this morning, but I hope we'll see you all next Tuesday for the next session. Right, where can you find the assessment questionnaire? Okay, I'll get a link. We'll see if a link can be sent to you, Christina. Thank you for your time. Yeah. All right. Yes. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, the recording will be on the Brandwin Business Support YouTube channel, which it'll be uploaded. It'll be probably today, Friday, so probably middle part of next week. If you go on to Brandwin Business Support YouTube, you'll find it on there. Okay, somebody wants a questionnaire. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can send that. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. If there's nothing else, so you've got my details. If you want to contact me separately, please feel free. And thank you for your time and have a lovely weekend, everybody.